been searching for a shooting star. I've been trying to find you in the dark. Many nights I wonder where you are. I know you're near but you feel so far. It's okay. When my mind is racing, my heart keeps chasing the way. There's no way of taming what my soul's got hidden away. I'm stargazing, stargazing. I'm waiting patience for the clouds to part. Looking forward to a brand new start. See my circumstances as you are. Know my blessings are within your cards. When my mind is racing, my heart keeps chasing the way. There's no way of taming what my soul's got hidden away.
I was trying to think of a way to test out the new Sony A7 III, and I thought I should go somewhere in the wilderness that's cold and dark on minimal sleep. Plus, Brenda volunteered to watch the kids.
I'm not gonna make the same mistakes. Live my life inside a figure eight and pretend there's nothing left at stake. I know that I was born to levitate.
So we finally made it out to the spot that I had in mind, and it's a bit cloudy, but I'm gonna give it a go anyway and see what we can get.
I'm stargazing. I'm stargazing. I'm I'm stargazing. I'm stargazing. I'm
While we're out here shooting star photos, I wanted to quickly run through some settings that I often get asked about on how to take star photos. So first off, start with a sturdy tripod, and then set your self timer to at least 2 seconds to make sure that when you mount your camera, you get steady and the camera isn't shaking while you're trying to take a long exposure. As far as settings, a good baseline is anywhere from 15 to 20 seconds, depending on the focal length you're using, but that's a good shutter speed. As low in aperture as you can go, so on this lens, that's f1.8. Anywhere from in the f1.8 to 2.8 range is great. Obviously, the lower the better. And then as far as ISO, I usually aim for around 32 to 6400, depending on how dark the sky is and what you're trying to capture. The next challenge you'll have is how to focus, and there's a few different ways to do that. But one of the easiest ways, especially on Sony cameras, is to use the focus peaking. You turn that on, and then the whatever's sharp will turn a color. I have it set to red, so you turn the focus ring, and the stars will turn red once they're sharp. Another method you can use is to just take a test shot and rotate your focus ring near the infinity point until you get the stars sharp when you zoom in at 100% crop on your playback screen. Aperture down to f2. Drop my shutter speed down to around 5 seconds. I like to start there just so I can get some kind of composition going before I bump it up to, say, 15 or 20 seconds. And then I'll usually start with an ISO around 6400 just to see what things are looking like. So I kind of just point my camera usually in the general direction of what I'm trying to capture. It's best if you can scout the location in the daytime, but rolled up here during the dark, so I just kind of aim my camera out there and get a baseline for what the composition looks like. So now that we taken a test shot, let's see what we got. Cool. So the first thing I like to do is make sure that I'm sharp. So if you zoom in on the stars on this image, zoom into 100% crop, and they look pretty sharp. Next thing, I will kind of look at my composition and adjust it to capture either the Milky Way or whatever seems interesting in the scene. Alright, so here we are. I've taken a few test shots, and this is coming up nicely. I'm getting the Milky Way through the clouds there a little bit, with a little bit of mountains in the foreground, which I like. But I think the next step, I'd like to add something in the immediate foreground, close to the camera, to just give it a little bit of place and give it a little more depth. So now we're starting to get towards some composition that I like. I got some foreground, I got the mountains on the right, the big mountains in the distance on the left, and then the stars above, and the Milky Way is starting to come through there a little bit at the top. There's still a little bit of cloud cover, but I think this is looking pretty good so far. Give you an idea of my setup here. I've got my camera balanced here on the rock. I've got my tripod legs out, and there's the foreground element. And then let me crank up the ISO here and see if we can see what's out there. Now that we've taken a few pictures with the Sony A7III, as you can see right there, I'm going to switch over to the new A7SIII and see how it does in low light. I think we got some good images this evening of the stars and the mountains. I think it's time to pack it in and head home.
Stars